How to debug in Django, the good way. So, I started learning to code in Python and later Django. The first times it was hard looking at tracebacks and actually figure out what I did wrong and where the syntax error was. Some time has passed now, and some way along the way, I guess I got a routine in debugging my Django code. As this was done early in my coding experience, I sat down and wondered if how I was doing this was ineffective and could be done faster. I usually manage to find and correct the bugs in my code, but I wonder if I should be doing it faster? I usually just use the debug info Django gives when enabled. When things do end up as I thought it would, I break the code flow a lot with a syntax error, and look at the variables at that point in the flow to figure out where the code does something other than what I wanted. But can this be improved? Are there some good tools or better ways to debug your Django code?
There are a bunch of ways to do it, but the most straightforward is to simply use the Python debugger. Just add following line in to a Django view function. Or, if you try to load that page in your browser, the browser will hang and you get a prompt to carry on debugging on actual executing code. However, there are other options. I am not recommending them. But the Python debugger, PDB, is highly recommended for all types of Python code. If you are already into PDB, you'd also want to have a look at it that uses Ipython for debugging. Some more useful extension to PDB are PDB++, suggested by Antash. PUD, suggested by Pat Dujour. Using the Python debugger in Django, suggested by Cfangs.
There are a few tools that cooperate well and can make your debugging task easier. Most important is the Django debug toolbar. Then you need good logging using the Python logging facility. You can send logging output to a log file, but an easier option is sending log output to FirePython. To use this, you need to use the Firefox browser with the Firebug extension. FirePython includes a Firebug plugin that will display any server-side logging in a Firebug tab. Firebug itself is also critical for debugging the JavaScript side of any app you develop, assuming you have some JS code, of course. I also like Django view tools for debugging views interactively using PDB, but I don't use it that much. There are more useful tools like Dozer for tracking down memory leaks. There are also other good suggestions given in answers here on So for memory tracking.
I really like Worksac's interactive debugger. It's similar to Django's debug page, except that you get an interactive shell on every level of the traceback. If you use the Django extensions, you get a run server_plus management command, which starts the development server and gives you Worksac's debugger on exceptions. Of course, you should only run this locally, as it gives anyone with a browser the rights to execute arbitrary Python code in the context of the server.
A little quickie for template tags. Now, inside a template you can do template_var PDB and enter a PDB session, given you running the local Devil server. It's where you can inspect element to your heart's content. It's a very nice way to see what's happened to your object when it arrives at the template.
If you want to avoid panel, please consider liking and subscribing.